Tough times don't last long, they create more wealth. Let's go a little further, let's dig into that. So watch this, I did something for y'all, right? Since 1928, 97 years, the S&P has been down more than 10%, only 12 times in the total, on a total return basis. 8 were due to recessions: 1930, 1931, 1937, 1957, 1973, 1974, 2021, 2008. 3 were due to World War II, 1940, 1941, and major geopolitical positions, and 1 was due to a Fed rate shock that didn't cause an well, they didn't say it, but it was actually a recession in 2022. Y'all know they denied it. Right, so think about that. 97 years, the S&P has only been down minus 10%, 12 times. 8 of them were due to recessions. Let that sink in. Why did I say that? Because in every one of these times, and here's the other thing I noticed too, every one almost gets shorter and shorter. Let's go a little further. Watch this. COVID, 8 days. SWIFT, trade war, that was when Trump, he did it before. 13 days. Asian financial crisis, 20 days. Higher 5 or 6 times. Watch this. 5 or 6 times, 1 month later, it came back higher, except for COVID. It took a little bit longer. It took about 4 months to get us back to those COVID things. Watch this. Higher 6 or 6 times later, when it went to 3 months or longer, we got a 9% return. When 6 or 6 times, 3 months later, when it fell like that. 6 of 6 times, 6 months later, 15% or more. These were swift corrections since 1950, y'all. This ain't me, this data. This is why I like to talk data and not bias. I let data tell me what's going on. I let data tell me not to panic. So when my people say, Trap, why are we so bullish? It's because I know this. Well, 5 out of 6 times, 1 month later, except for COVID, we got higher. 6 out of 6 times, 3 months later, we got up 9%. 6 out of 6 times, 6 months later, we got, at max, we got 15%. So that's telling me anywhere between 6 and 9, 3, 6, and 9 months, I can expect to be at least a little bit higher from a 10% correction, all right? That means what? I'm in line. Now, history don't always repeat itself. It does sometimes rhymes. That I'm saying that, but it's just saying based on 1950 to 2025, I mean, the data don't tell me to be bearish. The data tells the market to be bearish. And what I operate on, and here's the difference that we got to understand. The way you operate and the way that the institutional investors operate should be completely different. You don't have $1 billion fund. I'm not buying because Warren Buffett's selling on me, I'm selling. You know why? I got a different anatomy. 100%, he's the greatest investor of all time. I would never, ever debate that with anybody. Greatest investor of all time by far. But I also understand that just because he's selling on me, I gotta sell. Just because he moving on me, I gotta move. Because by the time we get the news that he moved, we weeks behind. So what you get? This ain't the first time we done put that data up before. This ain't the first time you've been down for a month. This ain't the first time. We done went all the way back to 2022, 2023, and 2024. But we had time where we been down. It is what it is, bro. It's part of the game. Let's go a little further, man. Trouble time don't last. Part 3, highest 21st century crashes, right? 2022, we had 25%. 8 months later, 23% recovery. 2018, 20% recovery, 4 months later. 2020, 34% down. What happened? 5 months later. And the financial crisis, the only one that took 4 years to recover. What is that saying, y'all? Just give it a couple months and you'll be all right. And recover means back to those numbers. I'm all about data for y'all, man. I ain't about nothing biased. I'm not about having a personal opinion. I'm not about data. I'm not about personal opinion. I'm not about biasness. I'm not about, I like the Republicans. I like the Democrats. I'm about what the data tell me, because this helped me make decisions, y'all. And guess what? If I'm wrong based on data, I'll take that 99% of the time because the data gonna have me winning more than I lose. Data-driven, not emotion. Healthy thesis. Remember we talked about that? Healthy thesis. Let's go a little further, man. A lot of people always talk about us going to war, and they always say, like, America don't, I hear people all the time say, like, America don't want to go to war with China. Right? So I looked at the military, broke this down. China has 2 million soldiers active as of right now. 2 million soldiers active. India has 1.4 million soldiers active. America actually has like 1.3 million active soldiers. North Korea has 1.2. Russia has 900,000. Right? But here's what I wrote down. Let's go a little further. Watch this though. I wrote something down. Right? Because people always say like the biggest military. Right? But I'm here to say that the biggest military don't always win. And here's what I do know about people, man. Like, here's what I do know about America. We always sleeping on this idea, yo. Like, I'm not saying people don't know how to fight, but I know America know how to go to war. I'm saying, here's the thing, though. Nobody wants a war. Right? Nobody wants war, bro. Right? But I will say that, like, I looked at some of the things. American Revolution, 1775, 1783, U.S. colonies versus Britain. Remember, at this time, Britain was the big dog. They really ran the world, yo. Nobody wanted to go with Britain, right? Britain outnumbered the American militia, and continuing army was smaller and far less equipped. We talking Britain had, at that time, 1 million plus soldiers, fam. In that time. Why they won? Guerrilla tactics, French support, home field advantage, and British underestimated the American resiliency, bro. American resiliency. American resiliency, bro. The Battle of Yorktown, American and French forces trapped the British, leading to their surrender and the end of the war. Let's go a little further, bro, because it happens a lot of times, right? The Winter War, 1939 to 1940, Finland versus Soviet Union. Outnumbered Finland, 340,000 troops versus the Soviet Union, 1 million troops, fam. Why they won? Superior knowledge of terrain, guerrilla tactics, and harsh winter conditions. Outcome, Finland inflicted heavy Soviet losses, but eventually had to sign a peace treaty, losing some territory while presenting its independence, fam. We ain't we know China big dogs. I ain't tripping on that, bro. But, like, here's the thing I don't be liking, bro. People be so mad at America. Like, bro, like, I'm gonna be real. Like, they know how to fight, bro. China do have some advantages, but don't think America don't got no advantages. Don't think we don't got no advantages. Don't think we ain't got no advantages, fam. Again, nobody don't want to go to war, but don't think we ain't got no advantages, fam. Like, it's gonna be a blood sport. Bro, don't think we ain't got no advantages, fam. I always say this, like, when you looking at, like, them movies and they saying, you know, this gonna happen, bro, don't you think America looking at all of that? You think you just so people like, yeah, man, you know, we spending a lot of money. Yeah, we are spending a lot of money. That is true. That's gonna be a thing that affect us, 100%. Guess what? But China economy ain't in no shape to go to war either, bro. Because guess what, bro? Check this out. As much as people hate America like they do, why you ain't just tip the bird over and say, man, we going for it? What's up? It is what it is. Let the chips fall how they may. And the one thing I know about this, bro, and I ain't taking nothing from nobody, bro, there's something about that resiliency of not wanting to get that spot up. There's something about being a champion, cuz. It's something about being a champion. I promise you they ain't ducking no smoke. I promise you they ain't no pushover. I don't care who in that office, bro. Because when you be in an office, you got to make like you got to be like, all right, we do. But, bro, they got people like, hey, we going to war, sit down. Huh, cuz? The stock market and all that, when we say war, hey, I don't care about none of that, bro. Sit down, fam. Am I right or wrong, cuz? Come on, man. We ain't that. We ain't that. Nah, again, nobody wants war, bro. But check this out. We go to war and you ain't getting paid. Let's go get it in blood. Let's go see. War is about strategy, bro. Somebody said China has a navy twice the size of America, therefore don't mess with them in the South China Sea. So watch this. If we know they got that advantage over there, why would we go do that? Again, ain't nobody crazy. At the end of the day, they got 2 million, we got 1 point something. We go war with anybody. You don't want war though. You can read all the books you want. I keep telling you, you can't measure heart. You can't measure what it take, bro. They was outnumbered, bro. They was outnumbered when they fought Britain. The Redcoats. Paul Revere, go look up how famous that situation was. Go look how famous that was, bro. Ain't the first time they been outnumbered, bro.